Hey guys, good morning. Trying to sit here trying to figure out how to put what I want to make today. But we might as well just start here. So, when we made that Kokopelli cane a few weeks ago, we used this little cane that I had, right? And we put that down the center. Yes, I still have a Kokopelli cane. And I had made it to make the center of this guy, right? So I had a little bit left over. And I thought that it would be really fun to just make a bar or a border, whatever you want to call it. And since I've been making a lot of hoop earrings lately, I thought I'd continue making hoop earrings. Not like I need any more earrings in my stash for sale, but I think the majority of my earrings are all cutouts. Which makes sense considering I make cutters, right? So I kind of wanted to make an earring with a pattern on it. But I don't want it really big. So, when we made the Kokopelli, you remembered how I made this, I think. I'm going to try and scoot you guys in a little more here. You remembered how I made that, right? So you just take a Skinner blend. And on this one, I took dark umber, sienna, and made a Skinner blend out of that. Made it into a triangle, and obviously covered it with black. And I think on this one was raw sienna, and I think this was mustard yellow. I'm not quite sure, but I think that's what it was. I do know it was like a darker yellow. And then we made the cane out of it. So if you want to make this, you can go back into that video of the Kokopelli, because I think it's in that video. Okay, so now we're just stretching this out, and I'm trying to get it to this side. I did a little bit earlier just to get started. So this one's a little less than 1/4 of an inch. So let's get the rest of it done here. I'm trying to get 5 of them. So if I can get this to, I don't know. I mean, you can go as long as you want or as short as you want, but five pieces for me would be perfect. Okay. So I wanted to put these, or a certain design on a pair of earrings, right? But the problem with the way I wanted to do it is by the time I made the veneer with them, and you know how you blend it into the base clay, it was kind of distorting. Excuse me. Because I was putting all the elements separate and just laying them down next to each other and then blending. And unfortunately, it kind of got stretched out. So I'm hoping that by doing it all at once, I can avoid that. Okay, so I should really cut this. So we got 6, right? I know I need to go a little more. Yeah. Actually, this feels smaller than what I've already done. Okay, and I'm using my little bracelet templates. Just to kind of make sure that we got a really nice square here. Just to make sure that they're all the same size. These are a little too big though to work on such a small cane. Alright, so let me cut this in half. Just to see where we're at. Okay, so I still want to go a little smaller. So now I'm just stretching it basically. Okay, so those look about even. And I'm making these, I wonder, I could make a bigger one, right? I can make a big bar of this. I don't think that's gonna happen. All right, so we're gonna go our regular 1.5 inches, right? Okay, so we have 2. And this can go a little more. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just need one more. It's just a little short. I think this one looks about the right size. And like I said, you can make this as long as you want. I chose 5. But I have enough for 6, right? Okay. And I don't want this one all fancy and crazy. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to make a strip of black. I'm going to run this through at a number 5. Got some of this here. So I'm going to run this at a 5. I'm going to roll some white at a number 1. And then we're just going to kind of put them both together and then run them through like at a number 3. So I'll show you what I'm doing. It's windy outside. It feels like fall. It does not feel like spring out there. It's just got that smell in the air. I don't know how to explain it. It just does not feel like a fall or like a spring. It's a little windy, so I am a little congested this morning. There are so many trees that are blooming right now. Boy, when my allergies kick in, they kick in really good. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect, I guess. I just need a small strip out of this anyways. So I'm just kind of doing that. I'm cutting us a couple pieces. because again, we're going to add white in the middle of this. So I can do like a 2-inch strip, I guess. And yeah, don't ask me. Like I said, you basically know my cutting skills. And it's because I wear glasses. But I don't wear glasses when I work because they just get in my way. So what I see sometimes is off. Alright, so now we have two 2-inch strips. Now we're going to grab some white. And this one again is going to be at the thickest setting. Actually, I may change my mind. I was thinking of making the black at a number 3 is probably what I should have did. Or 4. So I may end up getting rid of that black. So I might as well just use a regular square for this. Yeah, I don't need much. And we're going to do that again with the black. But I'm going to do it at a 4 instead of a 5. Okay. And of course, we're going to put the white and sandwich it into the black. Okay. We're going to run this at the thickest setting. I'm going to go really slow so it stays even. And I'm going to keep doing it till I get to a number 3. Okay. So that's it. All right. So that's all we got is a little strip. And yes, Jake is here. And basically, what we're going to do now is we're just going to grab some strips. Okay. And we're going to put them on one side of these. Actually, it's going to be on both sides, but by doing it this way, I can get them on both sides. Okay, so there's 4. Alright, I don't know if I'm going to use this last one, but I'm going to put them up there. Okay. Then I'm going to take a little more black. And I'm just going to do a strip of 5. Or add a number 5. That's all we're going to need. Now, depending how much design you want on your piece, I think I want a 5. Let me make sure that I don't want this as a 3. Or do I want this at a 0? This is going to go in between each one of these. The cool thing about this is you can literally put any design that you want in here. So you can take black and white like this. You could take a strip. Like the Kokopelli had those tiny little pieces of, they were like round black and white little doodads, right? So I'm not really worried if they're even. Okay. So, see what I mean? You can do that. And you can also take, you're going to have to make this really thin, you know, but you could even take a really small strip. Not like that. You know, and do it that way. I mean, you can set these up pretty much any way that you want. Okay. But on this one, we're just going to kind of separate them. So some are going to have this. And some are going to just have that strip in it. So it's whatever you want to make basically on your design. So we're going to do this right here. This is just going to be a simple pattern. Nope. I need this and that to be together. So I'm going to need that on this one. Okay, so that way you have one with the 2, one without, and then you can come in here and finish that one out. And then I'm just going to need one more of those white ones. Yeah, I don't like how this one's not matching up as good as I wanted to. Okay, so basically just like that. So this way you got a border. And the cool thing about these are you can use them in so many different things. Okay, so we're going to kind of shave this off so that it's even. It's okay if a little bit of the black comes off of your originals here. because we're going to cover this in black anyways. So it won't really hurt it. I'm just trying to make it sort of even. And same with this side. That one was a lot taller. So is this right there. Okay. I'll cut the bottom nice and straight in a minute. Gonna move all this stuff over. And then again, we're gonna do another black. And I can leave this at a number 5, or you can do a 6. You're basically just covering the sides. Yeah, this is so easy to make. It's going to be such a quick tutorial. So that's why I got to throw in a pair of earrings with this, right? So I'm doing this at a number 6, just so you know. Okay. All right. And this will also help to hold them together. Okay, so I'm going to come in here up to the end of that piece. Just to make it even, right? And then I'm going to straighten this one out too. Okay. And then we're going to put another piece on this side. And that's pretty much it. And then we have to make the hoop earrings. So you want to make this the size that you probably are going to use it. You can reduce it. I just don't know how easy this would be to reduce. Oop. I decided I wanted to stick. Okay, and you know you've got it even. So now I'm just cutting this off. Okay. And then you got yourself a bar. Okay. So these are great if you want to make like, let's say you want to wrap a vase or something like that. You know, you can make this as a border. And I have never made a border. I like it. And it just gives you all kinds of ideas of how you can make this in the future with all different kinds of designs. Okay, so we need to save our black because now we need to make a pair of earrings that these are going to fit on. So I need some scrap clay. Look at this. I got this big old chunk. What's up, Makita? She's just like walking around lost. What's up, pup? Okay. Just gonna kind of soften this, but I don't want to soften it too much, because then it's just really hard to work with. Okay. Ooh, that's really squishy right there, which means I've got air bubbles in that piece. So let's try that again. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why I got the air bubble in the other one, but it just felt really squishy, so I didn't want to take the chance. Okay, so basically, I don't want this pointy. I mean, it's going to be pointy, but I don't think I want a razor sharp point like on the bottom of these earrings. So kind of more like a tube. And taper down. And then obviously, you don't want these too thick. Okay, so that's almost ½ inch on your ear. So I think I want the top just a little less than ½ inch. So we're just going to keep taper and rolling it. So maybe like that. Oh no, Jake. I can find anything to bark at. Okay, so maybe something like that. Because yes, this has got to get cut in half. So that's the other fun part of this, is I'm not really good at centering anything. Especially because it's a different size, right? So on this one, I'm going to need a hard blade. Something that doesn't really bend. And I had a beautiful one yesterday. I'm just not quite sure what I did with it. I don't know where I got this blade either. I just know that, there it is, it's really thick. And it's like, it don't really move. It's pretty sturdy. I don't think it's the pool guy. I didn't hear him come over through the gate. So I'm not quite sure what he's barking at. Alright, I'm just trying to see. I have a feeling this is going to be thinner than the other one. Yeah, I need a better blade. But that's about all I got right now. See, this one's a little higher than this one. I don't think this design's... Alright, we might have to redo this one. So we're going to see why this one's squishy. Yeah, see right there. So I may just have to cut it in half. As it's short, and then lengthen it a little later after it's already cut in half. Because so this to me is too wide. And I'm putting a strip of black over it. So it's going to be a little wider still. Okay, so I'm going to try this again. And what I'm trying to do is just take this and put it across the center right there. But it's not really liking the way I'm doing it or something. Or I just can't cut, which I already know I can't. But that blade was horrible. But when you use a soft blade, sometimes you just got issues. Alright. And there's always that one side that's smaller than the other one. Okay, that one doesn't look too bad. That one actually looks even. Well, kind of. I don't know how that one got so much thinner. Oi, alrighty. So, let me go get some black. And we're going to come back. And so, I guess the hardest part is making the veneer for this. Because I want to put it on black, but obviously you're going to have to blend it into your earrings, right? And I just want this little, like just a little. I don't want it really big and wide. So I may have to make these wider. But I mean, this is going to be against your earring right here. And these are some hoops that I made before. Okay, so they're about the same size, but they just seem really wide. But I want it wide for the earring's sake, but not wide to where it's not going to fit on your earlobe very well. Okay, so we're going to go, I'm going to try and get this one even. I might have to do one more strip, see if I can get this one to match. And see how it kind of curves into the circle. I want to flatten it out. You know, so I think the last pair of earring we made that were hoops with my flowers, I just made it as a tube, right? But what happens? This is just a what if. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. What happens if we just took a brayer, okay? This is an example. This is not the final piece or anything like that, but let me try this. What happens if we made it something like just that? So that way the earring, instead of it being tapered, now this is too big, just so you know that I know. I need this one right here, I think. Because obviously you don't want it too heavy either. Right? So you could make it to where it's a flat pair of earrings. I just don't like the looks of that. Right? I kind of do like to taper. Okay, well, we're going to have to figure this one out, right? So let me go ahead and cut a couple more pieces, see if I can get two that match, and I will be back soon. Alrighty guys, so we made a few that look decent. They're a little long. But see how big those are? And I'm trying to kind of taper it a little bit. But for now, I just want to show you. See, so it's a little long. We don't want it that long. Okay, so I took out some black. And I cut those out at a number 4. I think I'm going to cut this about right there. Okay, so that might be a little better. Not quite so wide. Oh yeah. It won't be too bad, I think. Okay, and then you got these nice little hoops. Okay, so now that we got that. So the way that I did this before was I took these components one by one and I lined them all up, and then I basically blended them in, who knows how to say that word. And the problem is that if it's not packed really well, they're going to move. Okay. So I cut some strips at about just a little less than a 1 1/4. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go right here. And again, it doesn't have to be exact. You just want enough black on either side. So we're just going to kind of cut these in half. So about, I don't know, about the second circle mark. Okay, I'm just going to pull these aside. And then I'm going to put the strip right in the middle here. And I measured these at 2 millimeter. This is at a number 4. And this right here is also at a number 4. And I cut the little strips here. Yeah, I should have probably moved those. And now it's really faint, so I can't really see it. But they're about right here. So you don't need a whole lot. Okay. You just need enough to where... and I cut the wrong side, didn't I? I did. I cut with a blunt edge. Let me get a regular small piece right here. And I'm going to save that one that I just did, because I could probably use that for some like dagger earrings. So, I mean, you could use this on so many things. It could be a border for a vase. It could be actually anything you want it to be. All right. So hopefully that'll give me some ideas on something to make in the future. All right. So there's our 2 pieces. Okay, and that's where they're going to be. I wanted them a lot smaller, and unfortunately that doesn't look like that's going to happen. And let's see. If I set that down and butt it against it, this might be a little higher. So let me take these back and go at a number 3. And the only reason I'm putting these in there is when I smooth it all out, I don't want these to obviously move and stretch out. That's the only reason. Okay, so this is a number 3. Okay, so that's pretty perfect right there. The only problem is I didn't want a number 3. I wanted a number 4. Just because of the fact that darn it, Irene. I don't want such a thick piece under there. So these should have been a little thinner. Alright, hold on a minute. We're going to have to do it this way. Alright. Okay. So it's going to end up being stretched out, which should be good because then hopefully it'll give us that number 4 that I'm looking at. So that's 3/4 of an inch right there. So there's 1, so we're going to go about right there. Okay, and we're going to cut that in half. Somewhere about right there. I'm going to lay this right on this side of this. Okay. I don't know how high I want this. But I need a piece to go right there on the bottom as well. Yeah, I cut this up wrong. That's me. I got a phone call and I hate that when I answer the phone because then it takes me out of the zone and then I'm completely lost at what I was trying to do. So sorry for that. Alright, so we're going to grab some printer paper. Just a little strip. Okay. And now we're just going to blend all of this in. So obviously it's a little higher. So I can just take a little bit off the top. Like that. Okay. And now all I want to do is just make sure the sides are all one piece. So you're not going to see any lines. That's usually the goal. And it takes a little bit of time, especially if each piece is a different temperature. One might kind of be more softer, so it's going to go down a little bit more easy. Okay, I got this little mark. Not a big deal, but I got a little mark here. So yeah, my brother, who has worked in the corporate world for a very long time, was let go from a position about a year ago. I'm sure we talked about it because you always know what's going on here. And he ended up filing a lawsuit against them for wrongful termination. And he just had mediation yesterday, and he got a nice little settlement. And yeah, he's pretty happy about that. And apparently there's a lot of other people that were also terminated. So this company's got a heck of a lot of lawsuits against them. So I'm glad he got that. I'm glad his life is going to look up a little bit. Now if we could just get rid of his crazy girlfriend, everything would be okay. But it gave him a little bit of hope for the future, which right now we need all the hope we can get. Alright, so we're getting it there, but as you can see how it kind of moves if you don't have things. I kind of like how it goes kind of sideways like that. That kind of gives it like a tribal look. I don't know why, it just looks pretty interesting. But we still got some areas here that need a little bit more. Okay, now you got one piece, right? I'm going to take the brayer, just lightly, and I see I've got like an air bubble. I definitely don't want to put this through the pasta machine. I don't want to elongate it or anything like that. Okay. So now that we got that on, we can kind of figure out where we want to put this, right? So the big thing is this is going to curl under. So I would rather have it mainly from the top coming down. Not quite at the top, because that's going to be flat as well. God, Irene, you could cut it straight, right? Again, I'm not really good, because I can't see what I'm doing. Okay. And I want this in the middle. Look at that. Look at how I line that up. Oy. Okay, so about right there. Okay, and then this one, again, just want it down the center. Down as far as it'll go. Oh no, I don't have enough black to cover that. Well, I can either stretch it, or I can add a little piece, but I think I'm going to just stretch it. There we go. Oof. No, see, I don't like the stretch. Okay, I may not like this now that I stretched it. Gosh darn it. I think I'm just going to leave it just like that. I stretched it a little bit, but I'll come back and add some black on that bottom piece. Donna Cato, I am not. Seriously. Okay, so we're just going to add that right here. There we go. We're just going to blend that in. Okay. Okay, and there's going to be black on the top, and there's going to be black down the side. Okay, so we're just going to cut this. I don't know if the dog is barking because of the wind. Not as much because the wind scares him, but it blows every single smell from the neighborhood by. And he's just catching all the smells coming by with the wind. I know at 3 o'clock we have a Starlink launch due west of us, but it's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like you can't see it when they do their daytime launches. It's really hard to see them. I like it when they do the evening ones because you can see the takeoff from where we're at. We don't see it like from the launch pad, but as soon as it starts heading west and going south, then you really can see it. It's kind of a cool thing to watch. It's a boring town, so any kind of excitement is nice, right? Alright, so this way I made this a little thicker. Okay, so if I were to put this on, and yeah, as you can see, I'm not worrying about the inside. Okay. So, it might be nicer to have it a little longer. This is a big earring. And the only thing that I don't like is the way that kind of turns up. Nice if that was straight down, but that's not going to happen. Okay, so we're just going to kind of stretch this out a little bit. Yeah, it's still smaller than that, isn't it? It's just... So it's kind of good. Okay, so this will give me a little bit of time to just kind of stretch this a little bit. And that's why I only wanted the thin piece of black, is because I don't want to make this really bulky, and it is pretty bulky. But at least when it comes to sanding, there's not going to be a whole lot of it. Okay. So I'm just going to take this bottom piece and stretch it. Okay. So that's what it looks like. And that's how much we stretched it. Just give it a nice little dome shape. All right, so let's see what happens. All right, that should be perfect. Okay, straight up and down. This is a big earring. Okay, so we're going to do the same now with this one. And I don't remember if these are at a number 3. So we're going to put them at a number 3. Or, honestly, guys, I should leave it as a number 4. And if I cut that other strip a little bit too much, then... no, if I don't keep it the same, it's going to be a different size, and then I'm going to have issues. Okay, so there's our other piece right there. I'm going to try and line this up. All right. I should have had an extra strip right there. I don't know why I don't have an extra strip. Okay, so about 2 3/4. And I do think it's funny that these are a little sideways without doing anything to them. So it's kind of interesting how that ended up. Too small. So what do we got? About right there should be fine. Okay. And about right there should be enough. Okay, so that should be where we need it. So we're just going to kind of do this a little bit on the sides, get that down, and then I'm going to shave a little bit off the top here too. This one's a little thinner, so it's actually almost the same size as the sides. That first cut, I obviously cut a little too small. Oh yeah, this is like right there. Right where it should have been. So this hopefully will meld in there just fine. But I am going to get up really quick and I'm going to shut the back door because it is Wednesday and I know that pool guy is going to be here shortly. And Jake, yes, we'll run out at him. Oh, yeah, this one's a lot easier than the other one. Everything I do, I sand, so if I get any fingerprints or anything like that on there, it'll still be sanded. Okay, it just looks so much smaller than this, and I don't know why. I know that we stretched it, but if I could keep it this size, this is what I wanted. So we may end up going backtrack, not even using that one right here. I don't know. I'm making another one because I like this one a lot better. But again, I'm still going to have to stretch it a little bit. But not as much. So I may end up having to cut one more piece. I don't know. Because just the difference of them. And it's the same piece. I don't understand. I know that I didn't stretch it out that much. I really didn't. Okay, and this one I've got this one right there. Don't have much of a top to it. All right. So we're just going to see how this grows. So I might have to think about that the next time I try this one. Is that it's going to grow. All right. Okay, so it kind of grew, but it didn't grow out. See, this one sat in there a whole lot better than this one. So, I don't know. I really don't know why this one's a completely different size. even with a little bit of stretching, it's still a different size. So yeah, I might have to cut out another one, guys, because I don't think we're gonna match up with this. That's why I kind of like Makumigani on these, or stripes. But boy, when you do a pattern, you really got to make sure that you're even here. And as you can see, I'm not. And this is like right now a good size. Alright, so we've got a little bit of stretching to do. But even with the amount of stretching that I want to do, I don't think it's going to come out as big as that one on the other side. So that's kind of weird. I don't think I did anything wrong or anything different. So I don't know. I really don't know. And I did it at a number 3. It's what my machine's showing. So maybe it's because I kind of did this a little bit just to flatten it a little bit. Give me a nice, little nicer round shape and not so bulky up on top that it widened it. I don't know. I mean, now they're kind of looking a little alike, right? All right. Yeah, I was going to say I didn't do anything different. I did like the size better, but it's still not going to be long enough, so. What are you going to do, right? All right, so where are we at here? Okay. So if I leave that end to end, we're about 3 1/4. So we got about a 1/4 inch to go on this one. Okay. And that still looks a little wider. Okay. Almost there. I do like that it's nice and smooth. I just don't want that real tall part right there. And it's still wide. In the grand scheme of things, is it going to matter? Maybe not. But I just want them the same size. All right. All right. Okay. About the best we're going to be able to get, right? See, just like the other one, this one got stretched out just a little bit. Okay, so now this is too wide to put 2 on there. Okay, I don't like that right there. Okay. Just gonna make sure that they are perfectly lined up. I don't care about any nooks or crannies in here because I can fix those. Just make sure you don't have too many cracks or holes in them. Son of a gun. Okay, so you can always sand them, right? Which is what I do. But you don't want like a missing piece, because that you will definitely see. And then your backing won't lay really straight. Okay. So I'm going to come back in here and see how you can see now that I put that in there. It's kind of changed it. Okay. So no cracks, just nice and smooth, and that's just going to make the end process a lot easier. All right, and there's the pool guy. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, well, I yelled at him, made him lay down because he just will not stop. All right, guys, so what am I doing now? Now I'm just trying to round this out so that it looks kind of even, right? Although I love it when it's flattened like that. Okay, if I can keep it flattened like that, I will be happy. That's one thing about being in this office or in this room. You can hear when people come through the side gate. It's the only way that I know that the pool guy is here, is I can hear him opening up the fence. Okay. So there we go. Okay, we have one. Okay, so this is where you can go through, get it to look nice. God, it's stretched out a lot more than I wanted it to, so I'm not really happy with these because of that, but honestly, there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, I'm going to try and keep these away from each other. And again, I like the way that one's a little more flattened. And then the only thing left is to put it in the oven. All right. Yeah, these are big earrings. I don't know how to make it easier. I mean, I know I could try a couple of things, but we'll make another pair while these are in the oven and see if we can kind of thin them out a little bit. All right, so we're going to throw them in the oven and we'll see you in about an hour. Okay, guys, so I have the other ones in the oven and I want to show you what I did. So I basically did this again, but I made a round log. I made the log with the black already around a core, okay? And I made it 1/2 inch wide, okay? And then I just put a thinner strip of this on top. Okay, the only thing that I'm worried about, obviously, is what we would all worry about, is how easy this is going to meld into it without stretching it out too much. So I wasn't going to show this because I don't know how it's going to turn out doing it this way. But I just wanted the option to see if this would be easier. You know what I mean? So I guess if I just lightly press, you know, maybe I can get it to blend in a lot better. So I'm not going to keep you on the camera as I do this, but I did want to show you what I'm doing, because if it's easier, then you'll probably want to do it this way instead of the way that I did it. Okay. So now, could I put a little strip of black right next to it? Probably. But I'm trying to avoid that. Just carefully putting it into it. And I mean, I'm just lightly messing with it. I don't have a whole lot of pressure because I don't want to spread this. Okay, so you still got a little bit, or you could even leave it like that. I mean, seriously, it could be a strip that's on it. So I'm not sure yet how we're going to finish this, but I'm just going to keep trying and putting it down. I really like this. I like how I'm not stretching it. It's just a little piece added to the top. But as far as how it's going to end up looking when it's done, I don't know. And it's so thin that I couldn't sand it so that it's all one piece without destroying the actual design here. So it may take a little longer to do it this way, obviously. But so far, I'm pleased with how it's staying together. So I'm going to keep doing this and playing with it until I can get it to where there's no lines on the side. That might make this a little wider, but that's okay because this isn't really wide to start with. And this doesn't have a thicker top and a thinner bottom yet. I don't know if I'm going to do that or if I'm just going to make this like a half circle. Okay, so we're getting there. So I'm just going to play a little longer. I'm going to get them both on there really nice. You can see where it's starting to combine, but obviously it's another piece on top. And you can see how thin it is. But we've got same size, 3 1/4, which is where we want. So I'll be able to cut some of this off. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on there. And I'll come back and show you what happens. Alright guys, so we're back. We pulled these out of the oven and they're not bad. But yeah, you can see a little bit of distortion going on, right? So I'm not extremely happy with those. So what I did was I did it again. Okay, but this time I made just a log. That was it. I didn't make it into a little pointy thing or anything. Just a standard log. What I'm trying to do now is I'm going to do this again. But I'm going to kind of do it different, if that makes sense. It's different, but it's the same. And I'm going to keep doing this until I get it right. So I'm going to end up making a couple daggers of the earrings. But I did this for the dagger, and look, it's just like perfect. It didn't move. It stayed the shape as it kind of formed into the black. That's all I want to do with this. So I thought I'm going to try this again. Kind of the same thing, but again, different, right? And I'm going to make my strips to be the same size as the bead. Okay. And I'm using a smaller strip. This has only got 5 instead of 6. So I'm going to kind of move the camera really quick, just so that I can cut me a piece that's thin. But I can't do it far away. So now, okay, that's even a little thinner. Let me just do one more, just in case. All right, so this one's a little thicker as that one. This one's a little thinner. So we'll make this for the other dagger for that earring. Okay. So what I'm doing here, stacking them right next to the other. Makita is just moaning. I had lunch, and I think she wanted some of it. But other than that, I don't know what's up with her. Hoping it's nothing bad. Okay, so I'm squaring this little piece right here. Just setting it at the bottom. And oh, Irene, never mind. You guys, so I pulled the other one out of the oven, and I'll show that to you in about a second here. Am I happy with it? Not really. Because although I tried not to distort it, I distorted it, right? So I'm going to try one more thing, and then I'll show you the other one. Okay, so these are 1/2 inch, right? And I'm just going to make sure I've got enough to go all the way around it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I want a little bit underneath it as well. Okay. And then I'll worry about getting it even. But yeah, I started on this, and it's like, nope, I don't like the way it looks at. So I'm going to keep doing it until I get it to look the way I want it to look. Okay. So now we're going to take that other strip. And obviously, I'm not going to need all of this black. But I'm just trying to keep it from distorting. So this is the one I put out of the oven. And no, they're not that bad. They're not great. Okay, but they're not that bad. But you can see all the distortion on it. I don't want the distortion. I just want a small strip right in the center. It's going to look decent. Okay, so we're going to try and do this. Okay. There we go. And I'm going really, really light. Okay. All I want to do is get rid of all these lines right here. That's it. Okay. Keep it as close as I can to the shape it was before I cut out that bar. You can see just a few lines right here. So that's what I'm trying to get rid of. Okay. And I just want it thin, so me pushing down on this, I'm not worried about it. I just want it all combined, nice and even. Yes, Jake is still barking. The pool guy is gone, but he still likes to bark. Okay, so now we've got it to where it's in, right? I just need this right here now. Oop, that I did not need to do. Okay, so now we're just going straight up. Okay. Well, son of a gun. I squished this guy, didn't I? So, we're just going to take something and shove it right there in the middle. And get him back to where he should be, because I am not cutting another one of these out. I had to cut quite a few out. But I may have to, because I just completely destroyed this, didn't I? Alright, let me go ahead and redo this, and I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, so we figured it out. Took a little while, but we got it. And yeah, we got a little psychedelic piece right here, which is okay, because you're not going to see it. So hopefully I got this one right. I may have to cut this to about 3 inches though. And that's about 3, but we're going to cut a little bit off the top. And we're going to make sure that this is the same. All right. Such a pain. For one pair of earrings, sometimes you're just like, is it really worth it? Because all I seem to have is problems with it. Okay, so I just want to make sure that it's even on the top, right? Okay. So we just have a little area right here that we just need to sand, or not sand, we just need to form it in there just a little more. There we go. I like how it sparkled to let me know that it wasn't quite on the way it should be. Okay. I don't want to brush, but it was the first thing I grabbed. Okay. So it's not done completely different than the last one, but just a tiny bit different. A little more careful on the way that I put everything together. All right. Now what I could do, we'll go ahead and close this. So that's going to be the end of one side, right? Okay. I need this to be more in the center. See how that's doing what it's doing? And I'm going to take this piece and I'm just going to stretch it a little bit. Not by a whole lot. I just want to know where the end piece is. Okay, so I'm just smoothing it up. Perfect. Okay. Okay, now we're just going to flatten it. All right, so now I just want to kind of smooth everything down. This might not be something good to use, so let me grab some printer paper. And I know that there's an area on top that you probably saw that wasn't quite perfect, which is right there. So I'm going to take just a little strip and I'm going to run it through at a number 8. Okay. And we're just going to add just a tiny strip there. It could literally be a number 9 as well. Okay. And we're just going to make sure that it's in there. Yeah. I didn't realize that I had a little area that wasn't covered. So if you don't want to distort it, set it on your glass table or whatever, and that'll keep it moving while you smooth it out. Okay, but everything else looks pretty good. Okay, so all I gotta do is just this top piece right here. Okay, once you get smoothed in, then we can check the size. Okay, so this is about 3, and I think the last one we did was 3 1/4. But I'm going to look at this, and I don't think it was this one. I think this is a bigger one. Okay, so I can make a little big ring like that. But I think that was just the bigger one. And I should have the smaller one, but I might have it by the sink. And did it bring it back? I really know that I brought it back, though. I know that I did. I know that I know that I know. So I'll hit pause anyways while I work on the other one. And that's going to be the exact same way we did this one. Okay, and again, lay it on a tile or glass or whatever. And that way you'll be able to shape it without distorting it. I'm not real happy with this end. There we go. Except for the top. Okay. So right there, we're about 3 1/4. Okay, so let me go grab my centerpiece. We're going to put it on, and then we'll work on the other one real quick and throw it back in the oven. Guys, so found it. So now we're just going to show you this one. Okay, but it's still big. But with a design on it, I don't think I can go smaller because of it. And see how it kind of turns to where that's not in the middle? You're going to have to lay it on there and literally twist it to get it back. Okay. But I just wanted to show you the size of it. I'll manipulate it in a minute. Okay, so this is just a little different. So we are going to first make the other one. See, it's perfectly lined up on here. You know, I might have to do that. Hold it. Kind of just bring this over a little bit so that it's back in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to do the other one really quick. And it's still bigger than I really wanted it to be. I mean, this is the original strip. It didn't change too much, so I might want to go smaller on these. So I might reduce these smaller for the next pair, because I got a lot of that left, right? But for now, we're going to go finish this off, and I'll come back. Guys, I'm going to go throw this in the oven. I do like them a little better. They're a little smaller. Okay. They're the same size. Look at that. Somehow we managed. And I'm going to throw them in the oven, and I'll see you in about an hour. Hi guys, so we just wanted to come back and show you our little hoop earrings that we made the other day. So a little crooked. I have not put it back in the oven. I want to put it back in the oven just so that I can kind of get it soft enough to where I can twist it. Like, as you can see, it's a little bent weird. So if I put it back in the oven, get it really soft, then I can kind of do this and twist this back a little bit and then plunge it into ice cold water, and it should retain its shape. So that's the only thing that didn't come out really well with that, was the way I laid it down on the circle cutter. But anyways, we didn't buff these, we just left it as like a matte finish. I haven't decided whether I want to buff it. It is sanded down to the point where I can buff them. I just don't know if I want that shine. You could put a little bit of Renaissance wax on it. You could take some kind of cream or whatever if you wanted to and put it on there. And that will give it its shine. I'll show you. Okay, so you can have a shine that way as well. So I haven't decided what I want to do with them. But anyways, I wanted to come back and show you the earrings. And then we've got, I don't know if I showed this to you before. I was sick of having my cornstarch in a sock, although it worked very well. Every time I moved something in that area, I would drop the sock, and so I got cornstarch everywhere. So I made these little containers now, so that way you can put your cutter in some cornstarch, shake it off, put it in your clay piece. And this way you can put it away. I had a really big one. It just took way too much room in my studio. So I kind of made it, what is this? This is about 4.5 inches long. I can go smaller, but you know, I've got long fingers, and other people might have short fingers. Some might have thinner fingers, some might have wider fingers. So I wanted to make it to where anybody with any hand type was able to put it in. Okay, so if you're interested in those, let me know and I'll get those online. I'm working on some bezel cutters right now for a custom order. These are what they are. Okay, so it just shoves the center down, and that way you can take a pattern or something. Here's a pattern right here. We're just going to do a really quick quick demo on this. Okay, so this is going to fit the inside. Aha, see? And I didn't use the clay, or I didn't use the cornstarch. And then, you know, you'll take that and you'll set it right in here. So you got a really pretty bezel to go around a piece that you made. So now you got your own frame. These have to be done at the thickest setting. This one is, and this one is, but this one I added another strip on top to make it deeper. But you don't have to go deeper if you don't want. If you want the bezel to stick up, you just do it at the thickest setting. If you want it to stick in, then do the thickest setting and then take another sheet of clay, like a number 7, put it on top, and then cut it. So I got all kinds of shapes on that. And the other thing that I'm working on are extruder pieces. So if you guys have an extruder, you don't have all those shapes that you want, I am trying to make extruders with all kinds of different shapes. I can do flowers. I can do all kinds of stuff. So we're playing with those. Sorry, I had the hiccups. And I'll show you how those turn out when I'm done. But that's it for today, guys. Hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.